voice. Is that okay? All right, good. Right with us on that. All right. Angela was the strength in my back, the smile through my tears, a queen without a crown. See, I'm black, black like the night, black like the plague. Who is my mother, Angela? Angela was the rough knuckles and crooked teeth. She had to make it work by doing things that she's not proud of. We are her children, Angela's children. I say her children, but that's just out of formality. We are alone. She named me O'Bruni because I'm not supposed to forget that I'm a stranger. I don't belong here. She tells me to go outside and listen to the spirits, close my eyes and go out for a moment. I thought that I felt it opening my eyes to see nothing, nowhere. How did I end up nowhere? Where the fuck are those leaves? Where is the fire in the heat? Where are those goddamn trees? Then it got quiet. The silence, the solitude, the nothing, the nowhere, the know-how, nobody. There is nobody but O'Bruni. I am alone. I am plural. There are many. I call myself. We are at the bottom of the ocean, dropped off because the cruise ship got too full. I am Mammy. I am Leroy. Where is my empowerment? What is empower? I look to Angela and I asked her for strength to keep going. She kissed my forehead and said, I can't help you, O'Bruni. They say that it's a decision, it's about a decision to engage with it, engage with the debate. The engagement with their engagement with debate is still us versus you. You don't have to be black to talk about black shit. What happened to last year, Joe, when you were talking about what it meant to be a black and body? It's not necessarily about you having to talk about me and Gio's experience. Rather, it's the idea of being a black person within society, the ability to imagine Okiko as someone to empower you. It's coming from a position of privilege, coming at the expense of black body. They say that if we win the athlete good strategy, we win this debate. It's a question of who the athlete good for. If it is just good for Corinne and Joe, that's not a reason for you to vote for him. Rather, it is a reason for you to look to the criticism about why we are having, why we should need this type of empowerment. It's us versus them. Again, this idea of what Corinne is talking about and what Colin's talking about in the 2AC get, it should not be us versus empowerment. That is what the 1AC has deposited what we are criticizing. They say, and that's why it's important in crossing when I'm asking, or rather in the prep time, when I'm asked about is Okiko a black spirit? What is Okiko? She's something you create. She's a part of your imagination. Race is not something that we can. Race is not something we can't all look to Okiko as some raceless spirit messiah. She doesn't give me any fucking strength. You need to explain to me who is Okiko for me to be able to race you through. You can see all the goddamn colors, the wind, the color in the trees, but if you can't tell me who Okiko is and how she is supposed to empower me within space like that, what the fuck am I supposed to tell the people who ask me why I stay in debate? Why I stay in debate? What am I supposed to tell them about Okiko? How does Okiko give me strength? You don't explain these things. Why it's not a us. Why it's not a coalition. The problem with having things like a coalition of politics, they say that they said that we can't talk about the black Southern position. We have to because we can't talk about the black Southern position. Again, going back to the argument that I made above, and how you don't have to talk about the lived experience of each individual person. Rather, it's about being a black identity. You need to distance yourself from blackness. What the second ever since the 118 that we read is specifically talking about the idea that we need to not be black, we not be O'Bruni. We can be wasn't that big of a problem because of black success in debate. Our argument is not that there's still social life within social justice, i.e. the idea of Ryan and Elijah being able to perform success, which does not negate the fact that if they're walking down the street, it doesn't matter if the niggas united the crowd. Nobody gives a fuck about that in reality. It doesn't change the way when social death imposes reality upon you. Besides, these spirits like they were talking about in the one i.e. Akiko, is not a debate god. It's supposed to be some sort of empowerment. Just looking to Elijah and Ryan is not enough of empowerment to protect me from white supremacy. Empowerment does nothing to change the sociological reality that blackness imposes upon our bodies. They say that not saying that debate is not a hostile community. Rather, we need to affirm ourselves within the argument that the 1AC has an affirmative way that is at the expense of black people. They said that 1AC's method of empowerment is key to survival. But we get the question of who is it survival for? Is it survival for Joe and Corinne? Is it survival for Gio and Brooke? Who is surviving? That's the question that the 2AC had to answer, and the 1AC doesn't get to. They say permutation, but there's literally no explanation of a permutation in the 2AC. There's no way to combine them. Like it's just a strict negation. But Gio will explain that more in the one in our.
You don't have anything.
Right.
Read that red part.
Everything they said that at least good for us. Everything they said is just about them it being good for them. Second, to not see us the structural position of the category of black people inevitably undermining multiracial coalition politics and the radical opposition that takes into the force of question of black liberation. Back to the central discussion. Everything is doing a basic central question of why blackness is related to totality in the case of repressed truth and political and economic system. What is law for the study of blackness and the proposal for the decent to post-black paradigm and a proper analysis of the truth scale and the nature of black suffering and the struggle political setting intellectual attempt to defend the rights of limited ladies victims of state repression failed to make substantiated to forfeit the silence fates of black freedom until the necessary total revamping of society. Thinking the revamping of society is more appropriately envisioned as a creation of an entirely new one in the affirmative use of people of color, misfits, and the specificity anti-black and sexist, and to not intended the oppression of non-black people of color, and perhaps beyond the United States the condition to historic function of the more restricted empirical scope of anti-black and invariant and limited analysis, but it will likely impact the formulation of political strategy, modify the demeanor of our political future in the left political and the intellectual circus. They don't play oppression Olympic. The oppressionist and dogma level to charge them out to left and more than left playing the race card to fuss with the details of comparative or relational analysis to play the hand in hand and divide and conquer practice and promoting college immorality. Then point allows us to understand the way in which intimate relations perceive the center of black inquiry and the recurrent analogizing to black sublimation above the period comment refused to admit the significant difference in structural position born of discrepant history between blacks and different political act we met violent language refused our people of color and the form of color blindness inherent to the concept of people of color practice that must from the specificity of anti-black presumed that they insist upon the monolithic character of victimization under white supremacy, think slavery in the form of exploitation or colonization. You should be looking at that limits have toward the 1AC Fakiko and a raceless neutral spirit. That's the reason why you need to be voting negative.
What is black? Or what does it mean to be black?
There you go.
Black was constructed via the Middle Passage. One of Wilderson's most infamous lines, I guess I would say, is that when an African came out black. Blackness is the loss of kinship, the loss of...
so blackness is defined by not having a homeland?
Excuse me?
Blackness is defined by not having a homeland?
A black... Are you asking... Do you want to know what a black person... I don't understand what necessarily the question is.
It's just, what is black? Is it a position? Is it an identity?
Blackness is an ontological position that stemmed from that creation of the black person, which happened after the Middle Passage when you were stripped of being an African. Or you're a tribe or whatever, because that's the problem is called just African, because it's a continent.
Right.
To be stripped of your land, your culture, your religion, your entire way of being and coming to the new world as being a black person.
That's what determines whether someone's black or not?
It creates the basis for the ontological category of black, and i.e. the idea that there are still people allowed to be blackened, but they are not a black person.
Okay. Should the affirmative present a strategy that can be universally embraced by everyone?
I don't know what you mean by universally embraced. Rather, it's our criticism of the fact that the 1AC is inherently bad for black people.
Right, that's my argument. Should our affirmative for people like Joe and I who have not experienced
if your own empowerment is something that is neutral towards other people, that is a fine.
Why does our empowerment, or say that the entire affirmative was just predicated on our kinship
against black people? Every time you have self-affirmation is every time that the LA riots get spun as something that was against Asian people. That is what we're saying. Every time you want to say
right. So why then is not the 1AC an affirmation of something that's like
Keep going, I'm sorry. You
No,
can finish.
yeah, right. So it like sure, like see the LA riots, for example. Why doesn't it see those Korean store owners instead of being like, oh well, those poor Korean store owners were victimized by like the black folk who were rioting
That's
and
what
like
happened
we
because
fucked up
of
to them.
riot.
Right. Hold up.
Yeah.
Why can't the 1AC be an affirmation instead of being like the ways that white supremacy pitted Korean store owners against the economic conditions to exploit the black folk in the first place?
You sound really good right now, but that's not what was in the 1AC. Our arguments are predicated upon how the 1AC was presented and did not incorporate the elements of what you're talking about right now.
All the 1AC would have to have done to have, I guess, to have been like good, would to have been.
It's about how the 1AC was given, how the 1AC was given, the method in which you have taken of not talking about these issues.
Okay, so just okay. What does it mean to have social life and then social death?
I guess an example of that will be the one that you had in the 2AC where you explained about how people had success within black debate. However, the sociological reality, which your black is determined for, i.e. the idea of social death when you're going out into the street, people don't give a fuck if you're in a United Crown, how well you did at a goddamn tournament. The fact you're blackness is criminal, blackness is determined as being...
Sure, but there was not also a celebratory part of the whatever, like what you're saying. That's
the argument, the social life within social death. Having social life, i.e. what you were talking about in the 2AC, does not negate the fact
okay, well,
of social death.
You said for the...
I said that.